Let's study safety measure while using SMPS circuits. In SMPS, a large storage capacitor is charged at high voltage and can be dangerous even when the main supply is disconnected. So care to be taken while performing operation and make sure all the capacitors are completely discharged before touching the circuit. Also, keep in mind that heat sinks very often are not grounded and they can be very well at the main voltage. Remember to measure with oscilloscope whether the grounded with the main supply and you could make a short with your ground lead. You can see the picture. After studying, now it is important to see visual presentation. Always take precaution. First remove SMPS from power supply. Then make sure all capacitor is completely discharged. Burn resistor can be spotted by their black color and bad smell. Now look at ferrite transformer whether it is shorted or not. If your SMPS has a regulator IC, try to find its datasheet on internet. Many SMPS have a circuit diagram which help you to save your time. Here you can see a SMPS mainline fuse. You can identify a fuse as shown in the images. A blown fuse usually means many faulty semiconductor. Fuse is used to protect the functioning. When fault take place, it disconnects faulty component from other part. If the fault occurs and fuse has cleared the fault, then you can see the filament inside the fuse has breaked. There will be burnt flame marked on fuse where you can see visually. Let's have a look on qualities of a fuse. If you do not get any output when a fault occurred, then indicate it is good fuse. The SMPS can fail in many different ways, the most common being no output voltage at all. In this case, I start by checking the input fuse. If the fuse is good but there is no output, it happens sometimes the regulator is powered by a high value high voltage resistor in series with the Zener diode. If the resistor is good, maybe the Zener diode is shortlisted. If the fuse is open, then something went really wrong in the circuit. Don't replace the fuse yet, it would just blow again. There is a short circuit somewhere that you have to fix first. Just use a diode function of a multimeter and check the junction. The shorts are easy to spot. Often SMPS include protection components such as additional resistor or Zener diodes to reduce the damage in case of failure. If the power transistor is dead, chances are there that many other components are dead too. Some IC won't work if there is no high voltage to switch. Check the datasheet first. If too many components are dead, it's probably easier to replace the whole SMPS. Now for MOSFET, check the gate capacitance that should not exceed one of the old component and the gate threshold voltage that has to be similar to the old device. After replacing faulty component, it's a very good idea to use the light bulb trick for the very first power on test, and this will limit the damages in case problem isn't completely fixed. Let's study the partially working of SMPS. It may start for a fraction of a second and then shut down. For this, firstly check the capacitor. Let's check if defect is in feedback circuit. For this, apply adjustable DC voltage to SMPS output and gradually increase it when feedback circuits start working. A SMPS being powered on its output by an external laboratory DC power supply to check the feedback circuit. Now, how to perform capacitor check in SMPS circuit? Thermal dissipation is a bit too close to the limit of electrotype capacitor and a choice of component a bit too cost oriented. The liquid electrolyte inside these components tend to evaporate and dry out completely, altering the characteristic. In this picture, a SMP is being powered on its output by an external laboratory DC power supply to check the feedback circuit. The electrotype capacitor is shown here. When electrotype capacitor explode, they throw out corrosive projections. The exploded components are easy to spot, but before going any further, one should check the status of the rest of the circuit. If it cannot be cleaned or is already too corroded, replace the whole SMPS is the best option, since corroded components or copper PCB track will eventually fail. Look at all the capacitor, their shape and their neighborhood. If they are not cylindrical anymore and are inflated, have a dump shape top and bottom side, or have a leakage, these are faulty. But some electrolytic capacitor can be bad and still look decent. The only way of finding the faulty one is by measuring them. For replacement, use only new capacitor. Choose a good brand and keep in mind that all good capacitors are expensive. But fixing a SMPS is hard enough to completely justify the extra cost. After replacing all the faulty parts, there is still a reasonable risk of blowing them again, especially if the fuse was initially blown. Thus, this trick is called as the light bulb trick. The first test, I replaced the fuse with a 100-watt or so light bulb. About the same bulb power of the SMPS, it is a good starting point, but it's not critical at all. This way, when you can switch the power and see the bulb flash for a fraction of a second and then goes off. Moving on further, let's learn how to troubleshoot different problems related to SMPS. There is a component inside SMPS known as combusted coil, which is a winding coil which sometimes get burned due to excessive flow of current. This problem can be identified by easily smelling it and identify through the burn mark located on the external section of the winding coil. Now, if cracks are there on part of SMPS, because improper maintenance and handling while transferring it from one place to another could also lead to the physical damage which produces micro crack on IC and smaller sized component. If we talk about faulty component, capacitor, resistor, ICs, diodes, LED, etc., which get damaged, if it does happen, then you must check each component mounted on main areas of SMPS. If you are not having knowledge, then you will misinterpret the connection order. This section will lead to serious danger and it might cause them to lose their PC or laptop. Dry soldering can be a reason for your loose connection as a result of component which is not connected properly to electronic circuit board, which is responsible for converting AC into DC. Let's try to understand some basic procedure to solve these problems. Some easy step to be followed. Firstly, open the laptop to view the motherboard and check the device from multimeter. If problem persists on chip or any problem found in any component, then change that particular component to soldering and desoldering process. The process of desoldering and soldering has been explained to you in earlier session. You can follow same procedure to repair any chip component. Thank you.